So I think as a marketeer, you are in between your audience and the company you work for. Um, and I think that if you know too much about the company, like if you know which screw number is where on which table and which I don't know, like like if you know everything, you will lose the sight of the curious audience member or the audience person who like doesn't know about you at all. Whereas if you stay in the middle and you kind of know the big picture and you know what the company is trying to do and stuff like that, and you understand your audience, you can kind of like pull them together.
Welcome to episode 9 of our podcast on the same landing page. We've invited a new guest today, Britt Mulder from Eatron. And well, where do we start, Britt? We first had a conversation mid-pandemic when the whole world was shut down and we were kind of digitally networking. And I think I reached out to you. And at that point, you were in a very different position to where you are now. Normally, I introduce the guests that come on here, but I think in this case, it might be better off if we start off with an introduction from yourself, Britt. We're also joined by Asha, head of advertising, as always. But yeah, first of all, let's start with the beginning, Britt. When I first spoke to you, you were working in finance, in the industry of finance, and you were the head of marketing there. Do you want to tell us a little bit about how that whole started? Because I think you can word this better than me.
Okay, I'll try. Well, thank you for having me on. I'm very excited to be here. When you reached out to me on LinkedIn like a year and a half ago, I think it was, I think I was 1 week into this job, and it had started from networking, I guess. I was working in a private members club in Piccadilly, and I thought this is the networking opportunity for me to have a job in the industry. I mean, in the like a marketing job. I really wanted a marketing job, and I thought people here, they have so many like different backgrounds and so many different industries. I'll just use it as a networking opportunity. So I had my little notebook with like members number, like the membership number, their name, what they had ordered, and what little story they had told me last, that when I'd see them again, I would ask about that, if that makes sense, because I was in charge of like a whole room and I like have a lounge, and I wanted to do it myself so that I would be in control of this networking idea. And then one day there was someone who walked in, and he didn't know it yet, but I knew from the second he walked in that he was going to be my next boss, because it was inspiring, the like everything, like body language, the way he spoke to me and to my other colleagues and to his guests, and how he would introduce them. I was so inspired by that. So I did everything that I could to sort of get his attention in a way, like I would remember what he had ordered, what every guest had ordered. And one day he just asked me for my opinion on his website, and that's when I was like, oh, this is the opportunity. And I said, well, I'm Dutch, so do you want me to be honest or do you want me to be nice? Because I knew that the people around him were like yes people, and I was like, if I want to stand out, I can't be like that. So I was like, well, do you want me to be honest or do you want me to be nice? And then he was like, be honest. And then I scrolled and I was like, well, it's absolutely terrible. And then he was like, sorry. And I was like, well, I've been scrolling for 10 seconds and I don't know what you do. So you've already lost me. So imagine how many other people you've lost. No idea where that knowledge came from, by the way. But, and then he invited me for lunch with his business partner to get to know me more. Because he's the type of leader who's more into the person than like the experience, and if you like dedicated and stuff like that. And then he invited me after lunch to a PR meeting, and that's where he introduced me as the head of marketing, because he knew that I was going to work hard to make sure to fulfill it. And then I read every book I could find, every YouTube tutorial I could find. I was working 18 hours a day because that week my studies also started. And I bluffed, but everything that I said, I made it happen somehow, and I worked my way up from there. And that was a year and a half ago, and now I'm marketing manager at a software company in electric cars, and it's cool.
I remember looking at about a few months after that. I remember you showing me your marketing strategy because I was interested to know what you were going to do, you know, with this massive opportunity and all of the opportunities there, but also so many opportunities to go wrong, right? There must have been fear in your heart about, oh my God, I've got this title, how do I fulfill it? And I was intrigued to see what that strategy would look like, because as far as I understood, you were kind of working this out as you went along. And you were studying as well, right? Full time as a, what was your course at the time?
It's still that I'm going in my third year actually. International business management, but for like creative businesses, so nothing to do with fintech, but the basics are the same. So
you're doing a full-time degree at the same time. So I just didn't know how you'd have time for all this, honestly. And then you shared with me this strategy that was a multimedia level strategy that covered all the different channels of marketing and all the routes to market and where they sit in the funnel. And honestly, I was blown away by it as to how you got from that point to this point in such a short time. From there, how did you transition from that role into where you are now?
Well, so I started at that first company, and I did their website and the LinkedIn, and every number that I said I'll reach it, no worries. And then in the back of my mind, I was like, I have no idea how I'm going to achieve this, but I will find a way. And every time that they would ask me for something, I always said, yeah, I know how to do that. No clue, but I was like, I mean, if you don't challenge yourself, you won't. In my head, I won't go anywhere. Like, I need to be scared of an opportunity, and then that's when I know that I'll grow. So I increased the website traffic of the first one by 2000% within my first 3 months, because I redid the website. I got a software developer to come in. I learned how to design websites and the SEO and the campaigns and ads and everything. And then they were like, could you move to our partner companies in Lithuania and in Dubai and do the same? I was like, yeah, no worries, I can do that. No clue again, but I did it. And then the company kind of went downhill because there was like something with investors or whatever. I don't really know. And then everyone was made redundant all of a sudden. So I go from doing this for a year, like 18 hours a day, 7 days a week, missed every dinner, party, birthday that was there for the whole year, to nothing. And that was like such a big shift. Had a toll on my mental health. I remember I called you on that day, and it was bad. But the CTO of the Dubai company recommended me to my current CEO, and that's how I moved there, because of the numbers and the So
I remember that phone call as well that you made when, you know, it was kind of, I think we were still either just coming out of the pandemics, the events were starting to come up again. I feel like it was summer, and you felt like you'd done all of this work, an insane amount of work for so many different projects, and it had all just come to nothing, in the sense of you've got nothing that you can keep taking from this. And it was a feeling of like, man, this sucks, man. You put all that hours and hours and hours in. Now, of course, it didn't go to nothing, because all of that experience is what's led to the success you're having now. But I did like how you went straight into, right, what am I going to do to make something out of the opportunities that I've got left? And was there an event or an exhibition that you went to and represented yourself?
Yeah. So I got made redundant, I think it was 29th of August. It was like late August. And they had already bought a ticket for me, which was for an event called Money 2020. And that ticket is like over £1,000. And then my then boss was like, you can still have it, and I hope that we can work together again in the future. And that was a 3-day event, which to me was, it was a huge event in Amsterdam, because I was in the Netherlands at the time. And I told my mum, I was like, I don't know if I want to go. And then my mum was like, no, you should go. Like, you should be grateful for the ticket. I was like, no, I am grateful. It's just, I don't know if my mental health can do this, because this shifted. I was like scared of my laptop. Like, I was shaking when I saw my laptop. It was a very weird situation. And then I went all the way to the event on the first day. It took me nearly 3 hours to get there because, like linking tubes and stuff like that. And then I got to the platform and I saw the place, and then I called my sister and I was like, I should not be here because I will not present myself correctly, and I'd rather come back when I will feel better than now. And then she's like, so what do you want to do? I was like, I want to cross the platform and go back home. And then she's like, then do it. And then everyone obviously was against it, but I was like, yeah, you know what, I will. So I went all the way back home. And then on the third day, that's when I felt in the morning that I was going to make an impact, and that I was going to present myself well. And that's when I got ready again, 4 a.m. And that's when I went to the event. So all my old colleagues who weren't made redundant yet, but they were soon going to be made redundant, very weird situation. But I went there to like learn and then meet new people, and then to show that I was strong. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that feeling you have though is a common one for a lot of people, especially young people going to an event like that. Those events and those trade shows are full of quite extroverted salespeople often who really want to tell you about their products and argue for all of its features and benefits. So when you walk in, I remember, and you bought your £8 coffee or whatever it is, it's like you're just being fed to the wolves, which is unfair, but I'm kind of a salesperson too, so I can say it, I guess. But there is just stand after stand after stand of people trying to speak to you about something that you don't understand and probably don't have the decision-making power to buy if you did. And it's a strange one, isn't it? And then you kind of work out like, what am I doing here? And you want to like look around, but also the more you look around, the more you look like you can be pulled into a conversation that you'll be scared to have. It's a bit of it's an intimidating like experience that takes a while to get to understand the rhythm of, I think. But yeah, I mean, kudos to you to actually just throw yourself into that and use it as an opportunity to build up your contacts and your networking from that point. What I'd like to bring out of it from this is, because I think there's a lot of people that we speak to that use our content that are at a similar stage to you in their marketing. Maybe they could be in their first, second, or third role, and it is often a case of speaking to a lot of people that don't understand marketing, and you're fielding off questions almost, but then often aren't given the power to kind of really make it your own and say, look, this is you, rather than just asking me these questions about these specific things, why don't you ask me what I think would be best for our whole marketing strategy? But that's a really hard thing to get in an organization, is the trust. How do you think you've managed to do that where you are now? And what would you advise for someone like that in a similar position to do to make sure that they can be heard as a marketeer?
Oh, okay. I actually struggled with that in the beginning. So in the first company, because I was like, I have to prove myself because I've been given this crazy opportunity. I need to be grateful. I need to do everything I can to make these people happy, and I need to work my way up from there. And I'll do everything that everyone wants me to do, and then I'll gain respect. And it cost me my mental health, so I do not advise people to do that. What I do advise people to do is to set your boundaries, and be very clear in what you do and like what you want to do or what you want to achieve. Everything you say it say it in a confident way. Read the room, read the person like you're talking to and with, kind of sort of analyze their personality, because you could give the same presentation. Let's say you're giving a presentation to a business guy, like let's say the CEO of the company, who is very busy and he doesn't have time for you, and his attention span is very short because you need to get his attention straight away, otherwise he won't really be listening to you, and he'll probably not that. So that presentation should last about 5 or 10 minutes and then done. Whereas a more analytical person who wants to know more in depth about it, or like, I don't know, like a finance guy, the same presentation needs to last at least 45 minutes because he wants to know every single detail. And I think that's how you can like shift your ideas through, because you basically can't say what you want to say in the same way to every single person, because otherwise you'll lose their attention and every person sort of likes to be speaking to and with differently. So I think that's a very, very important one. And the last one I'd say is you have to sort of shift it in a way, what's in it for them. If you say, oh, I want to do this because of this, this, and this, they'll be like, okay. But if you're like, I want to do this because it will make you look like this and it will take the company there and it will increase this bit, which will lead to more sales. Like you have to sort of sell your idea. So I think a combo of all of these things, that should help. It's helped me.
I think you pulled out, like, as you talk, there's so many of the core marketing like schools of thought that are coming out. If you think about that first example you gave of the website, and him asking you for some advice, and you focus straight in on making sure you get your value proposition out clearly so people know what you're doing. And then when it comes to this stuff, it's about making sure you know your audience and that you're talking to the audience in the way that they will understand the message. These are really key points for anyone in marketing, I think, that we often forget as you become closer to the brands that you work with. We were talking the other day, and you mentioned a really interesting point, I thought, about stepping away from your business a little bit and not needing to know every element of everything to be a good marketer, and to make sure you still have the ear of the audience and almost the mind of the audience as well. Do you want to talk to me? Do you want to just go through that conversation we have?
Yeah, it might be a bit controversial, I guess, but it's just the way I have been working so far, I guess. I think as a marketing person, marketeer. I'm not English, by the way, so sometimes there might be some words that, yeah. So I think as a marketeer, you are in between your audience and the company you work for. And I think that if you know too much about the company, like if you know which screw number is where on which table and which I don't know, like like if you know everything, you will lose the sight of the curious audience member, or the audience person who like doesn't know about you at all. Whereas if you stay in the middle and you kind of know the big picture and you know what the company is trying to do and stuff like that, and you understand your audience, you can kind of like pull them together. Obviously, you're going to step on some toes because the company will be like, this is a different strategy. And you're like, well, yeah, but you want the audience and you want them to listen to you and you want to make them feel like a hero, because I think nowadays everyone kind of getting into a selfish world, I'd say, and everyone's kind of more interested in what's in it for them than what's like if you just say, oh, I was founded in this year and I've had this much investment and I have this, and the audience might be like, okay, I mean, so what? Like, you're not really gonna turn heads. I think depends on the industry, depends on the campaign, but I'd say generally speaking. Whereas if you're like, oh, this is going to make you feel this way, or this is going to take you there, or this is good. If you make an audience member feel something, I think then you're on the right track. But if you know where every single screw is and where it's been bought and where this and that, kind of going to lose track. So yeah, that's why I said you shouldn't know everything, but I mean, you should know a lot about it, but you should know as much about the company as the audience you're talking with.
Yeah,
you need to be in the middle. And then
you've nailed it there as well when it comes to like also keeping a distance from, there's so many things that businesses want to say that they're really proud of, right? So your business is in software for the electric cars and hybrid cars, is that correct? Yeah. So they might have this brand new product that is amazing and the engineers are really proud of it, but how that value then gets communicated needs to be, that's where you step in, right? You need to know what's going to actually excite the audience, because the things that the engineers are proud of, because technically they understand the whole thing, it's going to be very different to what's going to attract your audience and make them want to be interested in getting it into their business, into their cars. Yeah, I think that's a really interesting point about making the customer the hero, and communicating that across. How have you had to do that with any other campaigns where you've had to like take something really specific and maybe traditionally quite boring and turn it into something that is really connected with the audiences?
Um, yeah, I think so. I need to think about this one. Yes. So actually, recently, we launched a campaign. Yes, we launched a campaign recently, about one of the two products at Eatron, which is battery management system, which basically I mean, a battery is like the most expensive part of an electric vehicle, and people nowadays are sort of scared because they're like, well, how long is this car going to last? Because with a petrol car, it's how many miles it has on it, which will kind of tell you how long the car will be with you, if that makes sense. But with an electric vehicle, it's completely different. So instead of just talking about battery management system, which is already like a complex term by itself, I wanted to talk about I wanted to like raise a question in someone who's like going to read it, and then because so engineers are driven by data, but I was like, if I can raise a question in someone and then back it up with data, then it's like a different way than what I've seen from like the competitors and stuff like that. So I was like, well, the main reason people are scared to buy an electric vehicle is because they don't know how long it's going to last. So what if I would tell you that with our software, your car might last or could last 3 years longer or 15 years, like whatever. And I didn't make claims. I said what if and could. So I made hypotheses. Sorry, I do not know how to say this word, but yeah, hypothesis. Which would make someone curious, because even though it's software, I want someone to feel something, even though software is not really a feeling. But it's just like Apple, it's tech, but it makes you look cool. It's like a lifestyle thing. So I wanted that the same with software. So for someone to feel something and be like, what are these guys talking about? And then to refer to a white paper, which then the product manager would have written, which is very like into detail and how everything works, and yeah, to sort of convert them that way, which is different. So I think I hope this answers your question, but this this is the campaign that we've done.
Yeah, well, how would you, if you were to go back and because you're like your learning and development throughout marketing is very quick, like steep, and you've picked up so many new bits of software tools, like you designed websites and you just worked out how to do it as you went. You developed websites, you've worked out how to do it as you went. You're trying your hand at SEO, all this other stuff. Where do you go for your information to learn this stuff? Where are there people you always go to because they're brilliant, but like a source of it could be like Neil Patel, for example. I look at all of his blogs. Are there people like that you follow online, or anyone you can give us to younger people?
Yes. So I think where I started was to be able to read the audience and read the people I'm talking with. It might sound a bit controversial, but I read Surrounded by Idiots by, I think, Thomas Erickson, which literally puts down on paper who is who and what do you need to do to like convince this person, or who you might seem annoying to. Like it's very like broad, but it really helps me to like understand people. And then there is the brand gap, which helped me with like branding. Then because I also think it has a lot to do with mindset, like how you see your work and how you sell your work and sell yourself and stuff like that. Diary of a CEO by Stephen Bartlett is magical to me. And I think whenever I don't know something, and I always say that I do, I just go on YouTube and sort of figure it out and find like tutorials and stuff like that. Or I ask you.
Hey, that was the answer I was looking for.
Yeah, if I don't know something, if I'm stuck. So basically we've got our bi-weekly calls, and then sometimes we ask each other for advice from like an outside person. And then and I will get my work checked as well. Sorry?
Yeah, your local network is important, isn't it, for that? It's just really good to have experts in the field of each of these areas that if you can ask someone who's already done it, it's a great source of information outside of the normal like Googling and YouTube. I think that's the thing with marketing. You can do almost any of this stuff after a good amount of work if you just do the research. but what brings it together and where you can be, what stands you out from the rest, I think, is how good you are at turning it all into a campaign that speaks to the audience. And that really always comes back down to that, doesn't it? And communicating, how you communicate your ideas and so on. That, I think, is kind of the time we've got for the first section, but I would love to ask some of these more general questions that we ask everyone. So I'll move on to this bit. So if you had to order the following marketing materials in order of importance to you and your business, with the first being of most importance, the last being the one you would get rid of if you had to, or you might not want to get rid of, but as the least important, which order would you put them in? So we've got PPC, so that's Google Ads search and programmatic display. Social media, so that's organic and paid search on, paid social, email marketing, and then SEO.
It depends on what industry, I think. The industry really has a lot to do with it. I'd give different answers for different industries, to be honest. But
I think your industry, we can say it's a B2B industry you're in terms of
B2B.
Okay.
So there's PPC, SEO, social media, and email marketing, right?
Yeah, that's right. And social media is also paid social too.
Okay. Do you see LinkedIn as social media?
Yeah. Paid social.
Okay. I would say with the audience that we're targeting, SEO and PPC are at the top.
Yeah.
And social media next. And then email marketing last, or I would even drop it. Because these guys, they receive so many emails that, same, me too, actually, but like cold emails. I would, if I could just throw them in the bin, I would be so happy. So yeah, I'd put email marketing last. But some people are interested in like white papers or like newsletters or whatever it is. That fine, but yeah, cold emails in the bin, newsletters important, but they receive so many emails that most of the newsletters aren't seen that much, unfortunately, because it takes a lot of work to do them as well, and the campaign and all that stuff. But yeah, I would put that last.
Yeah, fair. Where was paid advertising on that? Google Ads? Where did you put that?
Same as SEO, like at the top.
That's good. That's a rare one. Astra's field of expertise often doesn't get as high as that. So that's good.
Yeah, I think this might be the first podcast where someone's not put it last, Britt. So.
Oh wow! Okay. I mean, I think it's these like they always Google everything. The audience members, so that's why. Like,
I guess in quite a like technical industry like yours, it's not as well understood as many others. So Google is your first port of call for any kind of, whether it's awareness, information, whatever it might be.
Yeah, but yeah, I think I would put PPC, SEO, and I would put social media, align them at the top, and then email marketing at the bottom.
Cool.
Interesting.
On a scale of like 1 to 10, how confident are you in your current marketing strategy?
Well, I change it as I go, so it's not like I have one strategy for an entire year and I stick by it. I change every time something doesn't work, and I keep when something does work, and I improve it as much as I can. So I would say 7.5, but I'm happy with 7.5, because if it was too much, then I'd be chilling. And if it was low enough, I wouldn't be doing my work proper. So I'm like 7.5, 8, because I mean, I change it all the time. So
what are you looking to change next to improve it? What's your next thing that you're really focusing on in your company?
Right now, website and graphics. So because we're doing videos right now, so I was like, let's do product videos. And then the CEO was like, yeah, let's outsource a team. And I was like, great, yeah, I've done that before. Actually, and so I've been like providing graphics for them. So I've been sort of like learning how to do that. I think improving your creativity really helps you a lot when you're marketing. Yeah, creativity and getting to it's not people awareness, but like understanding people and body language and stuff. But yeah, website is currently what I'm doing.
How do you think you improve creativity? So I wouldn't call myself a creative person, but how do I improve that?
Curiosity. I think you need to, like, if you're comfortable, for example, every graphic I made, most of them so far have been with PowerPoint, and people are like, PowerPoint? What do you mean? That's such a basic tool. And I'm like, well, yeah, but if you have like a program that you're super familiar with, you will be able to create things that are like out of the box. Whereas if you put me in front of Photoshop, I'll like hope that my laptop crashes because I have no idea. Yeah, I mean, I've been learning InDesign recently, which I'm very happy with, like remove backgrounds and stuff. But I think if you always stay curious, open to criticism, like happy to love your work, but if someone doesn't like it, change it. Don't be like, oh no, but I like it, but it's like, but it's not for you, it's like for someone else. So I think like put all your passion and love into something that you create, but be able to detach yourself from it so that you can create the best as you possibly can. Because if you just make things and everyone would be happy with them, I think you'd improve slower than if you get setbacks and if you have to do it again. There's some graphics I've had to redo them like 3 times, and I'd spend a whole day on them, to the point where people are like, oh, did you outsource it? I was like, nope, I actually made it myself based on your criticism. Go to people that will give you constructive criticism, because someone just being like, no, I don't like it, that to me is absolutely useless, because that does not help me. Like, if someone cooks for you and you're like, well, I don't like it, which part don't you like? Because and I need to know something. If it's just the sauce, then at least I know I can change the sauce. But if you don't give me information, then I don't know what to do next. So I always go to people who will give me constructive criticism, and people who are randomly in a cafe, and I will be like, hey, what do you think of this? And then if you just don't be afraid of criticism. And then I think
that's a good idea. You can't be too precious about what you put out there, can you? Because things take a lot of variations. I think we're on like V10 of a content piece we're producing at the moment. It takes that time to get better. I think that finishes up section 1. Astra, do you want to do the fake facts?
Yeah, so I'm kind of glad, Britt, that you said you're currently working on your website and graphics, because we've decided to do this week's fake facts about the best practices for ad designs and copywriting. So all the sorts of stuff that go into infographics. So I've got a number of facts here, and you two have to figure out whether they're true or false. So starting off, this could be quite a divisive one, but men and women have different colour preferences. One study showed that the most popular colours among men were blue and green, while women were into blue and purple. True or false?
True.
Britt, what are you thinking?
Women were into what, sorry?
Blue and green. Men are into blue and green, sorry, and women are into blue and purple.
Wait, I think it would be pink.
Sounds sexist.
Wait, purple. Who likes purple though? Does anyone like purple?
My bedroom as a teenager was entirely purple.
Mine was covered in posters of One Direction.
I'm going to go false. I'm going to go false on mine. What do you think, Britt?
Blue and green, blue and purple. I would say false. I could say it might be true for the men's one, but I'm not sure about the women's one. Yeah, I'd say false.
They are, in fact, both true. So 57% of men surveyed liked blue and 14% liked green, and 35% of women surveyed liked blue and 23% liked purple.
I mean, I
that
thought
one is true.
Because I said men, that couldn't be true, but women wasn't true.
You were half a mark, Britt, half a mark.
I was right until I became woke on that answer. I think. Anyway.
Okay, this one's a good one. You're more likely to survive a plane crash than click on a banner ad, true or false?
Thanks.
A banner ad, so like the top of a website.
Oh wow.
That might be true. But I don't think it is. I think that's false. I know that you don't. They're more brand awareness than anything. I know that, but yeah. But have you ever clicked on one? Have you ever clicked on one, Britt?
No, but my parents.
Not intentionally.
Yeah, my parents certainly have. Yeah, so I'd say false.
It is apparently true. Have either of you ever survived a plane crash?
No.
Guess we'll never know. Okay, so
Jason, we need to step up our game here. Come on.
Yeah.
okay. Next one. Digital marketing experts estimate that most Americans are exposed to 2,000 to 3,000 adverts each day. True or false?
That most Americans, what, sorry?
Are exposed to 2,000 to 3,000 adverts per day.
True.
Yeah. I think that's a random. It could easily be that number. Yeah, true.
2,000. Hold on. 2,000.
False. Oh, sorry, Britt. It's between 4,000 and 10,000 a day.
False. Yeah.
You can't backtrack when I've said it. Okay, last one. Come on, guys. Somebody's gonna get one. In 1993, the entire internet had 5 million users, or 0.45% of Facebook's current database.
True.
What's the question? What's the thing? Sorry?
In 1993, the entire internet had 5 million users, which is just 0.45% of Facebook's current user base.
True.
Yeah, true.
That one is true.
Oh,
1 point each.
I got 1.5.
1.5. Okay, Brit wins. And that is the attitude that got you from waitressing to where you are now. I like it. So that is all of our facts for today.
Oh my God. I've just done the random word generator.
Right. This is for the segment 3 strategy analogy. Which is, we're trying to liken this word back to
a marketing strategy.
From your reaction, could you press on the button again, please?
We can choose it, right? If you can't do it, we'll move to the next one. The word is socialist.
Ooh, we kind of do this every time. It's probably quite a controversial one, really. Let's leave politics out of it. Let's think again.
Okay, surprise. Surprise is the word.
Surprise.
So I'm supposed to make another, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Link it to marketing, basically.
Yeah. I think there's no room for surprise in marketing. As marketeers, we should always be ahead of trends, curves, ideas. Nothing should come as a surprise to us. We need to anticipate them, work for them, and be ready when they come, whether it's financial stuff, data stuff, improvements on platforms, what's trending in modern society. There's no room for surprise.
Okay. That's
mine.
I take the opposite approach. I think that the best marketing has elements of surprise woven into it, right? So it's the moment when you can catch someone unaware and surprise them with a message that actually makes them laugh or sparks something in their brain or sparks a memory of their childhood. It's those moments where they're surprised by a simple line of copy or an image that takes them to something else or gives them that, those are the moments in marketing that you actually get value, is through those sparkly thing. And that's the magic of it is finding those connection, whether it's a word or a film or a music, whatever it may be that you use, whatever sense you've got at your disposal, that you want to try and surprise them and break them out of the mold, because they're probably searching through Facebook or they're watching TV. If you can get their attention back to you by surprising them, then you've communicated your message. So marketing should always be about surprise.
Guys, how am I going? Okay, so I think I agree with Astra. You shouldn't be surprise yourself. You need to be like ahead of the curve and ahead of the trends. I think that you should create an element of surprise into the person you're trying to target, or into the person you're trying to sell something to, or even if it's like within your company, because to be remembered, I think, and to create an emotion. I feel like being surprised is also an emotion. So I think you're on the right track if you don't surprise yourself because you're so ahead in the game, but you surprise the person you're targeting with your work.
It's like Christmas if you're a parent, isn't it? Like you put in all this effort for weeks, you look what presents you want to get your kids, you wrap them up, you make it all magical, but you know exactly what they're going to open on that morning and how happy it's going to make them. But to your kid who knows nothing, he's just got a surprise bike or whatever it might be. Much like marketing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's those little as well, like part of the marketing mix is the packaging, right? And the way that Apple were able to like keep surprising you, even though you bought your phone, and as you unraveled it, it became a little thing that really kept surprising you and kept giving you joy, even though you'd already done the purchase and you knew what the product looked like. It was in the distance between not having it and having it that was almost the most fun, wasn't it? They created these little moments of surprise. Yeah, I like that. Cool.
Yeah, they were quite good. They might have been some of the best ones yet.
Considering I absolutely stacked it on the last episode, I'm happy with that. Thank you so much, Britt, for joining our podcast. I really appreciate it. Is there anything you would like to promote? Anything that you'd like to bring light to?
Yeah, can it be a mindset one?
Yeah, sure.
Of course.
Okay. I think a piece of advice to like new marketers or like young marketers or people who are trying to get into the industry, or even like but I guess this podcast is more directed to people who are in marketing. I think because I always try to give because sometimes I speak at school, so I always try to give like advice as in like I want to be the person for someone, like for the person that I didn't have. So I'd say work as hard as you can towards a goal, like have your goal set out, like what you want to reach, have it in front of you. That's so important, like to have it visually in front of you. It should be like on a board or background of your laptop or background of your phone, and then write it down and make a plan. Because I think that it's right now, as you probably don't have many responsibilities, like you don't have a mortgage on a house, maybe you don't have kids yet, maybe you don't, like this is the time that you can like experiment. And I think that if you experiment and then you learn about people, learn about body language, and become secure in what you want to do, you can reach anything that you'd like, because you will find that people, just like you become friends with people at school because you're both at school. So if you want to surround yourself with the right people, like, or network or whatever, go to the event where the people you want to target will be, or go to the library, or go to a member's, find a way. Even as a waitress, I did it too. So you need to find a way and like be creative, and don't be afraid to learn. You should always be curious to learn and be open for criticism. That's what I wanted to add.
Awesome, thank you. No, that's really good. It's really good advice. I think there will be people that are starting out and or just in jobs where they're having to do a lot of research and learning. So that'd be really useful.
And
awesome.
You can reach out to me on LinkedIn, by the way. If you want any like chats or whatever, you can just add me on LinkedIn and then we can have a chat. And then hopefully it will help.
Awesome.
Well,
awesome. Thank you very much, Britt. It's been really good to have you on. I'm glad we got to do this. And thank you, everyone. Thanks for listening.
bye.
Thank you. Have a nice day.